Time for us to go behind the headlines, but first, just a couple of updates here on 420radio.org. We've added a couple of new video chats to our chat menu. If you go up to the top menu on 420radio.org, look under chat, you'll find Grey Wolf's Den and the VIP room, both tiny chat video chat rooms available for you for watching and sharing the show with others. Check those out right here at 420radio.org. Now, for behind the headlines today, I wanted to go across the pond to the Netherlands. Of course, there's been a lot of talk about the coffee shops in the Netherlands, and our opponents like to characterize recent political changes in the Netherlands as the community rebelling against legalized weed, or at least tolerated weed, as in the Dutch coffee shops. People are allowed to possess and purchase up to 5 grams of cannabis, and it's tolerated. It's technically not legal, but the police tolerate it. They allow it to go on, for they fear it's easy. They feel that it's easier to deal with if it's in a organized, location where we can check IDs and control the marijuana than open street dealing. Well, our opponents have been emboldened by a new conservative government in the Netherlands that has very Christian conservative leanings. It feels that marijuana use is bad, and they've been pointing to some problems related to cannabis use in the southern provinces of the Netherlands with respect to what they call drug tourism. That is, people coming from Germany and Belgium and other countries during the weekends, clogging up traffic, causing a lot of problems to be able to get marijuana and party. This had led to a creation of what was called a weed pass system, where you would have to have this pass to go into some of these coffee shops. And to get the pass, you had to be a Dutch citizen. So it was no tourists allowed, basically. The owners of the coffee shops rebelled against this, said this would be a big problem. It would lead to more street dealing, more problems than the coffee shops themselves. The coffee shops in Amsterdam, in the north of the Netherlands, didn't go along with the weed pass system at all. They rejected it. The government of the Netherlands kind of gave them a city-by-city basis. They could decide how they wanted to proceed with this. Well, now there is news coming out of the Hague, the court in the Netherlands, their Supreme Court, basically, where the state has been ordered to compensate some of these cannabis cafe owners for their lost income. This is from Dutch News in the Netherlands. They says the government should pay damages to cannabis cafe owners in the south of the country who lost income when the government forced them to become members-only clubs, a court in The Hague has ruled. The government had hoped by turning the cafes into clubs, drug tourism would be reduced because only people who officially live in the Netherlands would be able to join. The club rule operated in the southern provinces between May 1st and November 19th of last year, when it was abandoned. Cafe owners said they had lost up to 90% of their clientele because of the new rules. Now, a second court procedure will determine how much compensation should be paid, The Hague also said in its ruling. Another thing interesting in this ruling is that the court did not actually say it was against their rules or against their laws to ban tourists from coming to the coffee shops. They are just saying that if you did, basically, if you use this weed pass system, you have to basically reimburse these guys for their lost income. BBC News reports on this as well, and they refer to it as a symbolic blow to those who have fought to tighten the Netherlands' traditionally liberal approach to soft drugs. They also note that there are about 700 coffee shops in the Netherlands. And another related story coming out of Raw Story, Dutch coffee shops in open revolt of ban on selling cannabis to foreigners. And this is talking about how the authorities in the Netherlands, in the southern city of Maastricht, are striking back after cannabis cafes staged an open revolt by selling marijuana to foreigners. They were ignoring the weed pass system. And basically, this is the Maastricht Coffee Shop Association. There's 13 of the 14 coffee shops in the city are a part of this association, which goes by the initials VOCM in their language. So the VOCM coffee shops were openly selling to foreigners. So the authorities now, geographically, when we're talking about Maastricht, it's in the southern part, kind of the southern end of the Netherlands, and Belgium's on one side and Germany's on the other. And so we get a lot of tourists that come across to Maastricht here. Now, there was a court ruling on April 25th that ruled that a shop called The Easy Going had to be shut down. court ruling overturned that. And after April 25th of this year, these coffee shops just, went nuts. They went ahead and opened up and started selling to the tourists again. So this has led to the authorities to crack down. There's been police raids and seizures and closure orders and prosecutions. There was busts at 4 coffee shops last weekend. And now this report from Ross Story, dated today, says all 13 of the VOCM member coffee shops in Maastricht have now shut down shop. Before they were shut down, the VOCM members said they did not want to discriminate and indeed would lose too much business by complying with the law, since foreigners account for 65% of their clientele. Head of VOCM, Mark Josemans, said, quote, "If governments in neighboring countries took responsibility in terms of soft drugs, none of this would be necessary." And of course, this has slashed the number of drug tourists, so-called drug tourists coming from Maastricht, from 1.5 million to 400,000 per year. But the illegal street dealers are taking up the slack. The VOCM says the number of street dealers has gone up. All right, and it is officially 4:20 here in the Rocky Mountain State of Colorado, where I feel like taking a perfectly legal break. I hope you can join me.
Go right ahead, Russ.